Welcome to our town, the City of Falls Church. I'm Christine Cornels, and we're delighted to bring to you the treasures and stories of our neighbors to you. We'll be talking with some of our local government officials, learning a little bit more about how they serve us, and possibly even some political statewide candidates. We'll also be speaking with some local entrepreneurs who are pursuing their passions and their dreams to bring products and services to us. And I know you are aware, but there are some members of the greatest generation that live here in the City of Falls Church. We'll be interviewing a very special member of that greatest generation as he shares his lessons with us. And finally, a special treat I know you will enjoy, dining with Daria. Daria Finley will be reviewing the Italian Cafe, and if you haven't eaten there, I know you will want to eat there after you see her segment. So thanks for joining us on Our Town as we bring the treasures and stories of our neighbors to you. To give you a taste of our town, Falls Church, we wanted to visit some local entrepreneurs. We started at the weekly Saturday Farmers Market located near the City Hall, where we caught up with Traveler Turping of Cold Country Salmon.
You're welcome. See ya. One of the nice things about the markets is being able to trade for whatever you want, so I trade pickles for salmon and trade bread for salmon. I think when you come to a farmer's market, you may not be out there killing your own salmon or whatever, but you're engaged in your food because you're understanding where it came from.
You're a lot closer to the source of it.
Yeah, and you're talking to the person that grew it, and I think that in an urban environment, that's equivalent to a subsistence lifestyle, when you can know the person that grew it or caught it or raised it or whatever that is. That is an urban subsistence lifestyle, and I think that's, not everybody can live in the wilderness and hunt their own salmon, but I think that's a really cool approximation that urban people can have. And you know where your food comes from, you know that it's healthy, you get to make a new friend in the vendor, and that's what we try to do here.
How do you get the salmon from Alaska to Falls Church, Virginia?
Long and laboriously and at great expense. It's a long ways. And it goes by freezer ship. It's frozen, single frozen in Alaska, and it goes by freezer ship from Alaska all the way to Seattle. Seattle's sort of the unofficial hub for Alaskan seafood because Alaska does have a road attaching into the rest of the world, but it's more efficient to get things out by ship, and so Seattle is sort of the hub for Alaskan seafood. So from Seattle, then it comes by freezer truck back here. So a sockeye salmon fillet is about like this, and this is a half a fish and it's skin on. You never want to take the skin off fish because it keeps it nice and moist when you cook it, and a lot of the fat in salmon is between the skin and the flesh. So a lot of people want to take the skin off, but you never want to do that. So a sign of good fish is the skin on. So that's essentially half a fish, big beautiful fillet.
Can that feed?
3 football players or 5 regular people probably. And so sockeye salmon is naturally just this brilliant red color, and when this thaws out, it'll be more like this. It'll be ruby red, and it only doesn't look bright red because it's frozen right now. But sockeye salmon is the reddest, has the most beautiful flesh of any of the salmon species. And there are 5 species of wild Pacific salmon. People think, oh, I'd like the wild Pacific salmon. And I'm like, well, there's 5 species and they all taste totally different. They all look different. They all run at different times of the summer. And sockeye salmon is one of the more commonly available ones. It's also the most beautiful one. And it doesn't necessarily have more omega-3s or anything than any of the other species. It's, in terms of the health benefits, is real similar. But something that I like to tell people about is that all Alaskan salmon are very healthy for you. The FDA and essentially any study you can read will tell you pregnant women can eat almost as much salmon as they want. Children, anyone can eat as much salmon as they want, essentially. It's not true for any other species of fish, like tuna, swordfish, marlin, sharks. Any of the big species that people like to eat are all essentially off limits to any high-risk person, like a pregnant woman or a kid or anything like that. And even if you're a regular healthy adult, you should only eat it every once in a while. It's a bummer because I love to eat those species, but it's good for me as a salmon fisherman because all wild Alaskan salmon are just outrageously good for you. Sockeye salmon in particular because they're the only one of the 5 species that's eating from the very, very bottom of the food chain. Everybody loves smoked salmon. Not everyone loves salmon, I'll admit that, but everybody loves smoked salmon. And also everybody loves king salmon. King salmon is a species that's richer, has a mild salmon flavor, and it's very, very fatty and rich. Not everybody loves the flavor of salmon in a real strong way. And sockeye salmon does have a stronger salmon flavor, but king salmon is an easy one to convert people to. If you don't like king, then you just don't like salmon.
So where can people find you then to buy this salmon?
The Falls Church Market, which is here Saturdays from 9 to noon, and in the spring and fall it's actually 8 to noon. The Palisades Market, which is in the Palisades neighborhood of Washington, D.C., on Sundays from 9 to 1. And I'm here during the winter because I fish during the summer in Alaska, and it's also too hot here during the summer. But also, I started my business just out of my house with social media, and so people can just call me up as well. And
Great.
my business is Cold Country Salmon.
And what's the website?
www.coldcountrysalmon.com.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Trevor.
Yeah, I
Appreciate
hope
it.
that helps.
Yeah.
Next this Saturday morning, we visited the Cheryl Felicia Rhodes Northern Virginia Acting School, located near Seven Corners. Here we saw actress Cheryl Felicia Rhodes instructing her students of all ages as they worked on monologues, diction exercises, and learned life lessons to help them in the business of show business.
Cheryl, what is your overall teaching philosophy in acting?
Well, one of the things I tell my students is to think, how can I help? And what does that mean? So often actors particularly are so focused on what are people thinking of me? But here's the deal. It's like when you're thirsty and you want a glass of water. You don't care what the glass looks like. You want the water inside. And I always tell actors that they're the cup or the glass for the water, which is the script inside. And the more they focus on how can I help tell the story, how in choosing this particular character, it makes it be a more effective impact for the script, the story, the film, whatever it happens to be. When you're focused on that, you forget to be quite so self-conscious. And another thing I do too, I'm very pleased and proud of the fact that many producers report to me that my actors are low maintenance on a set.
And what does that mean?
Low maintenance means they're not narcissistic particularly, at least they don't show it. They'll be very helpful, they'll go with the flow in a set situation, which is a reason a lot of actors and actresses get in trouble different times when they get on set and they're going, oh, there's so much trouble. And
so it's not just about the acting talent,
not
it's
just
also
about the
understanding
acting,
what
the
it
business
takes to help
and how to be
tell the
successful, there, and to know that it's show business, okay? And when they do that, when I get them in kind of like a service mentality, if you will, and by being of service, I mean that way, not like Downton Abbey with the maids and butlers, I don't mean that,
yes, yeah,
but I
different
mean,
kind,
but
yeah.
to come in and say, how can I contribute to the whole? Then people naturally want to hire you. Some director says, oh my gosh, they were great to work with, I want to bring them back.
That makes a lot of difference.
It
huh?
makes a huge difference,
Wow.
difference. And again, God bless her, but I always say this is a Lindsay Lohan free zone. Because here was a darling little girl that got so caught up in Hollywood, and it happens to many people, and that's one of the advantages that I can bring to students, is to tell them my experiences there, so that hopefully they can learn from some of the mistakes I've observed, and simple things like being on time for an audition. And there's the old saying that if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And so I try to get them to work on that, to be prepared.
So it's all about helping the production.
Absolutely. Helping
get it done
the
well.
whole. And when they do
Right.
that, not only do they feel more confident, and I always tell them the confidence comes from a Latin word that means with faith, to go with faith in themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And, actually, I think a lot of people don't necessarily think of Northern Virginia as a hotbed of acting. They normally think of Los Angeles.
Right.
What have you found about Falls Church in Northern Virginia? Are there a lot of acting opportunities?
Absolutely. I moved here. I relocated from Los Angeles about 6.5 years ago. And it's really amazing, the timing. I feel so blessed because thanks to Governor McDonnell and the legislature in Virginia last year, they signed legislation providing tax incentives for filmmakers to come here. So a production company can get up to 35% off their total production costs by filming here in Virginia. So that's why Steven Spielberg filmed Lincoln here. Clint Eastwood was here with a film. Tom Hanks is currently here with a film. But we have all these independent production companies here too. I worked on 2 films, The Fellow's Hip, that was done by Opening Act Productions, and I did a film called Life Fine-Tuned that was done by Renaissance Women Productions, which you know about. And so there are a lot of independent producers doing stuff here. And plus, it's a terrific theater community as well. So I was amazed when I came here that there was all this activity going on. In some ways, and I know this might, be hard for Virginians to believe, in some ways it feels like I never left Los Angeles.
Really?
So much
It's been that busy
It's
for
been
you
that
and your
busy.
students.
So much has been going on.
Well, for those in the audience who are interested in taking one of your classes, where can they go to get more information? Because it sounds like a wonderful service both for actors and even other people who just want to get better at communicating.
Exactly. All sorts of communication.
yeah.
My website is www.Cheryl, CHERYL, Rhodes, RHOAD as in David, S as in Sam.com. Or they can call our office at 703-536-5786.
Great. Well, Cheryl, any last advice you'd like to give to any students out there or people who are interested in acting?
Go for your dreams. Absolutely go for your dreams, because I think we've become such an exit poll society of like, okay, well, where will I make the most money, or where will I, affect people the most? I think each of us has a dream put inside us, and so often we ignore that instinct. And a good friend of mine in LA said, do the next indicated action, and that's something from within.
And here is 11-year-old Nina Brooks performing an original monologue Cheryl wrote for her.
Life is unpredictable. You never know what is going to happen. That is what I keep telling my parents. See, they think I should go to college someday, but my aunt doesn't think I should. She says all they do in college these days is have teachers who try to force their politics on you. Well, I don't think a math teacher should be telling me who to vote for, that's for sure. In fact, I'm not sure I want to know about math either.
Well, we didn't see any mathematicians, but we did see some politicians at a meeting at a Falls Church restaurant where local and statewide candidates and bipartisan officials were guests of the Falls Church GOP gathering on the next Sunday afternoon. We decided to interview some of the VIP guests in attendance there.
And I'm here with Mark Obershane. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet. It's good to be here with you.
And you are running for a political office here in Virginia, and I'd like you to share with the audience, if you don't mind, what office you're running for and what makes you excited to serve the people of Virginia.
Well, you bet. I'm running for Attorney General of Virginia. I've been an elected member of the Virginia State Senate for 10 years. I represent the Shenandoah Valley from Harrisonburg up to Front Royal. And for me, this is it's really a calling. I have been involved in public service and politics really since I was a child. My family was a very political family. I had a dad who ran for office often, was elected seldom.
So you saw it close, up and personal.
Absolutely. And for me, I've always been involved. This is the first time I've ever run for statewide office, and it's a real opportunity to have an impact on the realm of freedom here in Virginia and in the United States. I think being Attorney General is really right now one of the most important positions in state government anywhere, and running for Attorney General of Virginia is an opportunity to frankly have an impact upon the relationship between the state and federal government. We are in the process of sorting out the new relationship that exists between states and the federal government, and there's been a lot of push and pull over the past couple of years, and whether it's been on health care or on stormwater and the environment. Of course, there was the stormwater litigation with the Fairfax Board of Supervisors and the federal government recently that the Attorney General joined alongside the Fairfax Board of Supervisors. And there are a number of instances in which the federal government has, in the opinion of many, sought to engage in affairs in the states and Virginia that really just don't make sense and exceed their statutory authority in ways that may cost us hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wow. Well, I understand your father had a life goal kind of that drove his politics. And I think I saw something on your website about you adopting that same goal. What is that goal?
Yeah, my dad actually ran for U.S. Senate back in 1978. Okay. Won the Republican nomination, beat John Warner and Linwood Holton, and was killed in a plane crash while campaigning.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What my mother found was a piece of paper with his life goal written on it. It said this: it said, "The most important goal in my life is to have a meaningful impact on preserving and expanding the realm of freedom in the life of this country." And for me, that is a profound goal. We are a country that is built upon personal liberty, individual rights, personal responsibility. And every year in elections, we talk about trying to make sure that we preserve the freedom that our forefathers fought to
so
give
hard
us.
for. But
And I think that's a worthy goal. And as a matter of fact, I think it's not enough any longer to say that we don't want to give up any more. I think we've maybe given up a measure too much, and it's about time to start focusing on expanding the realm of freedom. And freedom, I think, is often a concept that is maybe misinterpreted, or people have different interpretations. When we talk about freedom, we're not talking about freedom from responsibility. We're talking about freedom to achieve your dreams, freedom to pursue that which is important, freedom to exercise the rights that we're given as citizens of this great nation. And that's what it's about for me.
I am the Falls Church City Treasurer, which means that I'm a constitutional officer. In the state of Virginia, we are elected independently for localities, and my locality is the City of Falls Church. And there are 132 of us treasurers, and we are tax collectors, basically. So
I imagine you don't like using that term.
sometimes it's not a good thing, but yes, no, it's a wonderful position, and I love it greatly.
Do you end up networking with the treasurers from the other?
I'm actually the secretary of the State Treasurers Association. So,
Oh, okay.
yes, we do. We have a conference every year, and we have classes, and we're all certified. Well, we're supposed to be certified. I'm a master governmental treasurer as well. So we have a very popular education program, and it's been awarded through the state. So.
Well, I feel like everybody, when they approach their job, kind of has an overall philosophy or goal they're trying to achieve with the job. What is your overall philosophy with being the treasurer?
Well, it's a little different for me because Falls Church is such a small community that for me it's giving back. And it's always about what can I do for my constituents that are more than constituents. They're friends, they're family, they're people that I've known for 20 years. And I find that it's very personal to me. So for me, my philosophy is definitely citizen give back and helping.
So you've lived in Falls Church for a while then?
Yes, we lived here since we've been married, since my husband and I got married in 1996.
Oh, great.
So yeah, we love the city. I grew up in Arlington, so I have always known about the city, but when we decided to move, I knew exactly where I wanted to live because I wanted to get involved in politics.
I wonder if Grace Marie Davis and Jean Marie Davis, and David Snyder, our vice mayor, can come forward. And then I'd like to introduce Roger Neighborgall. Thank you. Good. I'll give this to you, and now you can present it to our longtime member and your longtime friend.
Yes, only we have to say good words about you before I will give this to you. Do you want to start?
Sure, thanks very much. I was looking up the definition for hero in the dictionary, and it talked about someone as a mythic or legendary reputation. And, You know, in this day and age, and tonight where we sort of recognize celebrity status but not true heroism, it's really a unique opportunity to recognize a true hero, and Roger Neighborgall is that. One of the great things about a small town like the City of Falls Church is you really get to know the people. And Roger is right up there with the finest person and among the finest people that I've ever had the opportunity to meet or work with. But the key thing about Roger, which many of you know, Roger does not live in the past. He lives in the present and the future. And he's done so much for the city that I even can't begin to explain what it is. But recently he's done a lot of work for the trails. He's been a key mover behind one of the finest assets that Northern Virginia has. And he's done so many other things for the community, as is true of his wife Linda as well. So let me just say that it's an incredible honor for me to play a small role in this and recognize not only what Roger has done, what Roger is now doing, and what I know Roger will be doing in the future. Roger, here.
And I have to say, I got to know Roger a completely different way. While I was serving in the State House and the State Senate, I served on the Virginia Research Technology Advisory Commission, which was a governor's commission, and we spent, gosh, a whole decade almost looking at research and development and commercialization and intellectual property and all of those important issues. And although Roger was not a member of the commission, Roger attended most every meeting, almost the entire 10 years, I think. He was so very dedicated to what was going on in the Commonwealth in regard to IT and in commercialization, intellectual property, and all of those important issues that are the future of our economy. And that's how we got to know each other so well, and we really appreciated all of your input. He was my advisor. Roger was not shy. He would come and tell me what he thought we should be focused on and how we should be moving forward, and I always cherished his advice. It was always great advice, and it's been such a pleasure to know Roger all of these years and to make such a good friend of Roger's. So we want to award this to you. I'd just like to read it. It says, Roger Neighborgall, youngest at heart citizen, Falls Church GOP, February 24th, 2013. Congratulations.
When Jean Marie was in Richmond all the time, she was my source of energy and to get everything done and so on. So I was in the governor's office, and I said I wanted to see the governor, and his secretary said, "Have you talked to Jean Marie?"
No.
And I said, "No, all I want to do is borrow his airplane." so she couldn't do that. No. Anyway, age, as Dave says, gives you money and responsibilities. I try to live up to that, and I'm honored to live in Falls Church, and thank you all.
I am very honored to introduce you to a fellow Falls Church resident, Roger Neighborgall. Roger, thank you so much for joining us.
You're certainly welcome.
And I saw you just receive an award this afternoon. What award is that, and why did you receive it?
Well, it's a question whether or not you should call it an award. It's only because I'm approaching 90 years old, and I'm the oldest one in the GOP Republican Party in Falls Church. But in retirement, I've also accepted a lot of responsibilities as far as the community is concerned. So I'm president of the WNOD Railroad. I'm the president and founder of the 200-team Northern Virginia Tennis League, and I'm involved in a whole lot of other things.
Oh my goodness, so you don't slow down at all.
No, I try not to. I'm the president of the WNOD Trail.
Okay. That's a Washington and Old Dominion Trail.
Yes, I'm the president. And the answer is that safety is our number one priority, which is not always easy.
And that's safety for probably both the pedestrians, the runners, the bikers, and the vehicles.
That's correct, because everyone thinks they have the right of way.
Right.
But on the other hand, there are certain rules and so on and so forth, and we try to honor all suggestions, requests, and ideas and so on, but it's not easy. We have a trail patrol of some 75 people, of our people.
And they're volunteers?
They're all volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah. But the local communities, including the City of Falls Church, police patrol the trail. And in most cases, we've done very well with 2 million people a year using it.
My goodness, I didn't know that many
Yeah,
people.
two-
I really enjoy using the trail. I never would have guessed that many people.
Well, actually, the Washington Post is the one who came up with that number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we felt that I should share that with you.
Well, I did want to ask you too, Roger, kind of for Falls Church residents. Some of us get involved in the government, some don't. Some, everybody's busy with their lives. What kind of advice would you give to the residents of Falls Church in terms of getting involved in the government and how the city runs?
For every government employee in Falls Church, there should be 10 citizens supporting him.
And what do you mean by supporting it?
Volunteer to do things that the individual does not have time to do or simply just can't do.
Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, but volunteerism is what makes the lubricant to keep the whole thing going.
Wow, well, I see why you received the award.
Yeah.
And I hope I'll take that advice, and I hope the rest of us listening to this will also listen to that advice and take it to heart. Roger, thank you so much for joining us. Actually, I'm hoping we get a chance to talk to you more someday, because there's a lot of stories we didn't cover.
After the Politicos gathering concluded, since we were already at the Italian Cafe, we took this opportunity to have our town's very own restaurant reviewer, Daria Finley, do her Dining with Daria at the Italian Cafe.
Welcome to Italian Cafe, Falls Church, 7161 Lee Highway, Falls Church, Virginia.
My name is Daria, and welcome to Dining with Daria. We're here at the Italian Cafe in Falls Church, Virginia. This restaurant is known for its delicious appetizers like minestrone soup, large selection of pastas, and pizza made from homemade dough. Come dine with me.
Cheese?
Yes, please. I just ordered zuppa di pesce. Think of it as a potpourri of seafood. With fish and mussels. It's also marinated in white wine sauce. Doesn't that sound good? I just ordered 2 desserts also. This is a quaint family-owned restaurant known for traditional, authentic Italian cuisine. And it's also known for its chef specials since 1977.
This is a famous homemade tiramisu.
Oh, thank you very much. That tiramisu is good.
Here's the second one.
Thank you for dining with Daria. I want to dig in.
Daria, thank you so much for bringing us that review. I am looking forward to trying the Italian Cafe, and especially one of those desserts, so save one for me. We're glad you joined us on Our Town. I'd like to share a special quote as we close out from Thornton Wilder, who said, "We can only be said to be alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures." And we hope you enjoyed learning more about the treasures of our City of Falls Church. I'm Christine Cornils, and we'll see you next time on Our Town.
(7161 Lee Highway, Falls Church, Virginia. Thank you.
I'm Christine Cornils, and we are so delighted to have you with us. Today, we will be speaking with some of our local government officials, learning about, I'm assuming that was too loud.
Here, step out, and I will push this up.
Okay. Whoa.
Now you're getting all wet.
That's okay.
Oh,
This
no,
is
that's not okay.
This is Alaskan weather.
Then I'd like to introduce Roger Neighborgall. And Trish, can you bring the award? It would be helpful if we had the award.
Hey, this is good. God, I didn't know it was this good. I'm about to order me another one. 3 desserts. It's crazy.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a game to play.
All right.
All right.
Good for you. Great, 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 great.